A very good afternoon to you wherever you are joining us from. My name is Yaya Kofi, right here in the office at 355 Fanofo Street. We are back, yes, with the office. We are in the season of love. It is Valentine's season. What are you doing about your love stories or your loved ones? So what are you doing for him or her? Well, I have a lot to do for him. Yeah, I said so. Wherever you're joining me, I say thank you for being a part of the office right here. Today we are talking about a very sensitive issue, I say, because yes, some institutions are banning or have banned or placed a ban on pre-wedding photo shoots. So we want to ask you, really, are some institutions dictating our lives? Well, as human beings, we sometimes fight freedom, or we find it threatening when people want to invade our freedom. So today we want to ask the pastors, and I have a private view to know whether really we are being dictated to. With me in the office, I have Pastor Daniel Annan. He is a counselor, and also Selwyn. He is my colleague right here in multimedia. So we are finding out from you at home, in your offices, wherever you're watching us, really, are our institutions or are some institutions dictating for us? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome to the office.
Thank you.
Okay, so we want to find out, yes, I have my money. I want to have my wedding glamorous. And you tell me no photo shoot. Is it right?
The issue is not no photo shoot. The issue is about decency.
Okay.
And decorum.
Okay.
So the issue is not no, but the issue is about decency.
Okay.
As much as that we have choices and decisions that we are making, we need to be circumspect about the things that we decide to do. Because in your voluntary decision, you decided to join an organization called church. And that church has values, that church has responsibilities, that church has rights, that church has a culture they have built for themselves. You took a decision to join. So when you took a decision to join, then you are obliged to go by the rules in the church. The church is saying that as a church, one of our values is to let people live in a decent life. There should be sobriety. The decisions that the dressing, the thing that we are doing, we should portray and exhibit likes of Christ in us. So people should see the reflection of Christianity in your life, not in your speech. And what you are doing is that you just look at the underpant of a woman in a photo shoot and tell that person that, for that reason, I'm telling you I'm about to marry you. Let me ask you a simple question. I saw your DP at the poolside. Why didn't you bring that dress in here?
That's my private life.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's your private life. So you can't bring that dress into this office?
No, it has, the office actually has its rules and regulations, so you can't wear such a thing.
You have answered my question.
Okay. No, but then I have a memory to create. And if this is part of the memory I want for tomorrow, why stop me? Is the question I am asking.
A memory that you want to create on a platform of the church. You could have gone to the done a civil wedding, where you go to court, register it, and go your way. But this one, you took a decision to send it to church, governed by Christ. The principles and the precepts and everything that we do there is based on the Bible.
Someone would say, I didn't come to the premises of the church to take those photos. I took it somewhere else. It is my memory I want to create. So, why stop me?
And when we were announcing that, check the date, you told people the venue.
Exactly.
Exactly, the venue
Usually we say save the date.
Save the date.
Exactly.
And you told us the venue. And where is the venue? The church.
Okay.
So you are using the church's platform. If it had been your own private issue, that would have been a different thing altogether. Okay. However, I believe we need to look at the bigger picture. That if you were a man and you want to marry, like you are a woman, you want to marry, who should you marry?
Okay.
Are you marrying the person because of sex? Are you marrying because of romance? Or you are marrying because of what is necessary? I often tell people, you need to look at these 7 things before you say, this guy I want to marry. If the guy wants to look at your underpants before he take a decision to marry, check something out. Okay. Because you are getting on, the train is off the rail. One, what you need to ask yourself is that person, one, is he responsible? Number two, is he working?
Okay.
Number three, is it somebody who can cultivate your life and bring the best out of you? Number four, is it God-fearing?
Okay.
Number five, is this somebody who has the love of God? Not the love between couples, so the love of God within himself. Because the love, I often tell people, don't marry because of love.
Okay.
Yes, never marry because of love.
That's a pastor topic.
If
Never
you marry because of love, it will fail. Because you have people who were lovers, but later on they come to be haters.
Okay.
So it means the basis for people, of which people should marry, is not love, but knowledge.
Okay.
The knowledge I'm talking about is the love that is the love of Christ, called agape love. That is forgiving.
Okay.
Is the person somebody who knows, for me a Christian, is this somebody who knows the word of God? That he can carry you, guide you through the principles of the Bible and get you shaped into that image of God. If I don't find in such the man who wants to look at my underpants before say yes, then there's a question. If I am a man, which woman should I marry? Every man is looking for three things. Every man. All the men sitting here, ask them. First, they are looking for their respect and honor. If doesn't find the respect and honor in a man, in a woman, drop it. Okay. Number two, every man is looking for somebody who is a helper. Okay. I'm talking about help, not in terms of only financial help, in terms of psychological help, in terms of emotional help, in terms of physical help, every kind of help. A man is looking for somebody who is a helper. And number three, every man who is looking for a woman who is that fine romantic woman, not only in bed, but that who has the capacity to satisfy the sexual ego in the person. So when a man doesn't find a woman of that caliber, do you allow the person to look at your underpants? Okay,
so we'll come back to that. I want to ask Selwyn. So do you agree to the ban, or do you think that really they are just trying to, dictate to us?
Yeah, I think society has moved on
from
just religious values and all those things. I think society is moving to a place where everybody's trying to be free-spirited and do what they want to do.
Yeah.
In terms of photo shoots, he mentioned people looking under people's, but I think that's just 1 in a million that happening. I don't think everyone's photo shoots that I have seen, I've never even seen anybody looking at anyone's underpants. It's just normally they going to a nice location and taking pictures. Sometimes maybe they kiss and all that. But that in all, first of all, saves money, because if I do that and I put it on my WhatsApp status, I put on Instagram, my friends are going to see it. I don't have to print invitation cards to people. So that alone sends a message to people I'm going to marry. It saves me money from printing and all those things. And also, pre-wedding photo shoot, I think it came by the fact that the art of photography went higher. That's how all these things came about, because in 5 years ago or maybe 10 years ago to come, I don't think any of us would want to be photographers. There are photographers here, but they never wanted to be photographers because nobody wanted to be the one to be called brow photo. But then in terms of how unemployment came to Ghana, people thought that, okay, let's move into these creative fields. If these photographers are making money and I've also gone to school, I can go and actually advance myself in photography, get other ways to advance myself in getting the modern cameras and all that. And that's how the art of photography came about. So if people go to take pictures only on wedding days, or maybe your wedding, your reception, what about before your wedding too? That's how all that came about. So if you take weddings after the, if you take pictures during the wedding and after, why not before?
Don't you think that this institution is trying to kill jobs? Because we have people that are now into that creative industry, and we all want to promote such. Don't you think that you're rather putting pressure on the pockets of these young ones? Because yes, I need money to have my wedding, and if you are stopping me, how then do I come to have a wedding done?
I believe, first of all, I said it's not a ban.
Okay.
It's decency.
It's decency.
The key word is decency and decorum. The church is trying to guide people as to principles and values of life. So the question is, as much as that you want to do something, as much as you profess to be called a Christian, does it befit what you are doing? If Christ were to be here, would he have done that? That's a question you need to ask yourself.
You see, let me chip in this. We have a lot of Christian, let me say, churches around. And then we have a lot of young people in the churches getting married. But the rate of divorce is so high. And it's mainly of those who did theirs in the church. Are you saying that this would pull us into a better light?
I believe it's a wider thing that we need to look at. I was just giving you excerpts of things that you need to consider before you marry.
Okay.
I think the society, not only the church, the society is having a problem as to how we need to prepare people before they marry. The statistics we have now, Ghana, 2 years ago, 200,000 people divorced in a year. When you check the Indian system, you can Google and check. It's 1 out of 1,000. You see their lifestyle, the way they contract marriage. It's so much involving both parents, both household, and both families. They do due diligence before people contract marriage. But in our modern society, we call something postmodernity doctrine. The postmodernity doctrine is a doctrine of liberalism, where everybody thinks that anything is free. In such things, when such things begins to get into the church, that's where we have these problems. I was saying that don't marry because you love the person. Marry with wisdom. You need requisite knowledge before you say, yes, I want to marry you. Other than that, we just respond to the feelings that we have seen about the person, the beauty, the appearance of what the person has. And that one fades just a little while. So marry with knowledge. We have, for instance, 5 things that are available for us. God has given you wisdom, this knowledge, this experience. When I come here, I sat here. The few minutes that I sat here, I was exposed to the wisdom that goes on here. Why? I started looking at conversation. I started looking at pictures. I started looking at arrangements. In life, whatever exposure you get yourself into is supposed to teach you wisdom. 2, you have your parents who are around. What have you learned from them concerning choices and decisions as to which man or which woman to marry? 3, you have your counselors, pastors. How well are they guiding you according to the principles of the Bible as to know which decision to take and which not to take? When you have all these things around you and you ignore them and you just see that I've seen a beautiful woman, I just want to marry the person without doing due diligence. That's why we have divorce cases happening. It's not only because of the church, but it's because of the societal value, how we see marriage and how we contract marriage. So even if it's not in the church, and even it's customary marriage, and we don't do due diligence, these things will happen.
Okay, so Selwyn, let me find out from you. Do you think that these values, as he said, that the church is trying to inculcate in us are helping us in any way to become any better in our society?
Well, I'll take it from the example he gave about church and it's providing all these things to us. For Ghana, I think we are built on Christian values. And you mentioned India. India are having successful marriages, but I don't think Indians are Christians. So I don't feel it has to do with the religion. Personally, I think, okay, I'm not old enough to be talking about marriage yet, but I know
preparation, prelude, preparation.
Yeah, it has to me, whatever I think, it has to be between the two of you. I don't feel anybody should be able to influence what you do with your marriage or the choices you make with who you want to marry, because I don't think anybody can actually understand what you feel or what the person feels. The counselor, the pastor, they might have experience, but they might not actually know what is going on. Because if I come to the counselor as much as open I would want to be, I don't think I'll be able to tell him everything. Okay. If the person is even beating me at home and I love the person so much, I don't think I'll be really, really ready to open up to you that this is what's happening, or maybe the negativities of the person at home. So if it's going to do a marriage, the best people I think was maybe, first of all, your parents. Apart from your parents, has to be between the two of you. You guys need to be as honest as possible. You want to be with each other. If you guys can work out, fine. If you can't work out, just be honest that it won't work out and move on.
Okay, so I'll ask you again. You have friends that have married and that are preparing for marriage and all that, and yourself, I believe you're also preparing yourself, because yes, I know messing is around, don't worry. Oh, the uncle is even watching you. So, this is it. Don't you think that, as he said, we are carried, like, yes, we are so excited about the moments we are going to meet, rather than listen to word of wisdom from the elderly. Don't you think that's what we're doing?
That's very true. And then, but we are millennials. We are supposed to be stubborn, even though it's not right. But then we have to listen to them. But then it's normal. I mean, you've been there already. You've been to our stage between 20 and 20, and you understand that maybe you were stubborn as well. But then, but then you have to understand the fact that, like, with this age, it's quite difficult coming out from being a teenager, getting to adulthood, because you are a teenager. You are leaving being a teenager to your adulthood. You are in a hurry to be an adult. You want to compete with them.
You are in a hurry.
No, I'm saying, like, that's what it is with millennials. We are in a hurry to reach there. I mean, am I lying? How many of you guys are 21 and 25 years?
You are in a hurry.
Oh, obviously.
So do you think their dictates is doing us any good or harm?
It's good because they have the experience. Okay. But then we are not obliged to take the advice. That's what I feel. It's good.
So should your church say no more photo shoot?
I'll go to another church.
Daddy.
He says something that you are in a hurry. The fact that you are running fast doesn't mean your destination is correct.
Please, can you repeat that?
The fact that you are running very fast, that doesn't mean that your destination is correct. Somebody can be running fast, but it's running anti-clockwise. So when you end up, the destination is wrong. The most important thing is being on track. I've not been married for long.
Okay.
This year I'll be 25 years in marriage.
How old are you?
And
this year what?
25. How old are you?
This year you'll be 25.
In marriage?
In marriage. Oh, wow.
So, I've learned over the period.
Okay.
And I've come to a certain realization that we need to be very careful about our choices and our decisions. Because certain decisions and choices that you make, you will live with it for life.
Okay. He said something that we are millennials and that we want to do what we feel like doing. Don't you think?
I'm not saying that's right.
No.
Though,
yes.
that's
No. Yes. I know. But don't you think that it is time you rather sit us down, explain to us for us to understand, than taking decisions for us? Because one thing I've noticed is that our parents tend to always see us as kids and not adults, even if you're grown. When is the appropriate time to say, my daughter, my son, let's have an adult talk? So you explain rather than dictate to your children.
I don't dictate to my children. Never.
Is this not what the institution has just done? No. Instead of really explaining, oh, like you are doing, rather than saying, most of them do. So don't you think that it's time for us to sit down as two adults, consenting adults, and have a chat?
I believe that's the appropriate thing to do. The key word is education.
Right.
You see, what I've come to realize of this age, there's so much speed.
Okay.
But that speed must go with reasoning. Right. For instance, how do I help you to think? How do we help people to think?
Okay. So let's listen to some people on the street that we spoke to on this same issue, and let's have what they said about the ban on the pre-wedding photo shoots.
Joy Prime, real entertainment.
They want. So the church cannot dictate for us. What if I want a pre-wedding shoot? Some do videos, some do even parties before their wedding. So the church can't tell me do this, do that. Though some churches are dictating for their people, but then people are not going according to what the church is saying. So I think the church can't dictate for us. We do whatever, because we are in an era that we think we do whatever thing that we want.
In a way or the other, they are. Why am I saying that? They are doing so, but then I think in the benefit of our own lives, for our own good. We are Ghanaians, we have culture, we have customs. In the olden days.
Joy Prime, real entertainment. Joy Prime.
You're welcome back. You heard for yourself. The lady out there says, look, I won't listen because it's my day. I have to enjoy my day. And that's what she's saying. And the gentleman is saying, yeah, I mean, they are dictating, but how for do? If a manager, just as he's saying, listen, we are millennials. You have to allow us. Daddy, you were saying something before we went for that Vox Pop. We are asking, and I really want us to understand this. When are we really going to sit down and talk as two consenting adults and not you seeing us always as kids?
I believe preparation does not only matter with age. Age is a number.
Yeah.
What actually it is maturity. I think as your child is growing, especially when they get to the adolescence, it's time that you need to give them that education. Now, when they come to that age that possibly they want to enter into a relationship that will be leading to marriages, then you help them, give them the requisite knowledge as to what to influence their decision, who should be the proper material to marry. I sit my children down every now and then. And I open myself up so they can ask me every question. Parents always have to be accommodating. They should not be. We are not living in the 18th century where parents were like kings.
Yeah, that's how come you saw those pictures and then you woke up and you were shocked.
So what actually, we live in an age of teamwork, reasoning. So what do? Create an environment where your children can easily come to you and talk and share anything. But as much as that you are guiding them, help them to make their own decisions, but not impose upon them. Allow them also to fail. Allow them to make mistakes. When you allow them to make mistakes and they come, you correct. When they learn such lessons, they won't go back. But sometimes there are certain decisions that if you are not careful, more especially, I've chosen this person to stay with for my life. It has spiritual implications, it has moral implications, it has medical implications. So if you are not careful, a woman that you got married to could end your life.
Okay, B, let me read this comment from Jonas on Facebook. He says, I'm enjoying the show. Thanks, Jonas. And then thanks to Kaki also for joining us. And also Sandra Ocean says that, but the more persons think he or she is being dictated to, the more he will fight. It's an explosive situation. Yes, that's what I was just saying, asking if it's not time for us to really sit and talk, because I mean, if I want to do something and without you letting me know why I shouldn't, and you just tell me no, I would fight back, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so that's what we are saying.
But fighting back could be done in a better way. So you see, the question is about you. When you fought back, what did you gain?
Yeah,
Nothing.
I want freedom.
Freedom
Yeah.
Of what? Of your choice,
Take my own
of your decision.
Yes.
And that decision, maybe if you have listened to a little wisdom, could have corrected one thing. Couples came to me, and couples come to me every day, every now and then. Every day I'm doing counseling. For instance, some guys came to me, and the man, they want to marry, and the man has had a little hitch because of his vocation, his work. He was sponsoring the woman all then, and now the tables have turned. And the woman is having pressure from the mother that this man is no more working, so get out. And they came to me, and I asked a simple question. The simple question I asked was that, this man or this woman, do you find trust in the person? One of the key things that you need to consider before you say yes is whether the person is trustworthy. Not by saying it, whether the person is truthful, reliable, and also transparent. If you want to engage somebody or stay with somebody, he's not truthful, he's not reliable, he's not transparent, it's a warning sign. So I asked the person, do you think he's trustworthy? And he had doubts. And I said, okay, then pause. Wait until you see you can trust the person before you get into that relationship. All that we are trying to say is that we live in a modern world, but modernity should not take sense out of us. We should infuse modernity in the right sense so that we engage. And when we engage, as youth, what you need to do is to listen. I always tell people, you listen. The decision is yours. But after listening, you may decide to go this way or that way. But when the person is talking and you start answering back, it means you will not listen. So therefore, you will not learn anything. You just listen. After listening, take your own decision. But when you make a mistake, be very bold enough to come and say, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I see you want to say something.
Yeah, I like his style of parenting, whereby he allows his kids to have their freedom, and then when they learn their lesson, that's where they pick it up from. But then I think we need to advise our parents, because most of the parents don't even allow the kids to make mistakes to even learn from. Because some of the mistakes or some of the experience, you need to go through it. No matter how the person say, you won't listen. But then if you go through whatever it is, so that's why we are talking about freedom. Allow the person to go through it, have the experience. Whatever good things they get from it, they take it. Whatever bad things they don't get from it, they take it away. But you need to listen and then make your choices. What suits you is fine. If it doesn't suit you, you can let it go.
Not all anyway. Because sometimes, as much as that, you see, when you are an adolescent or youth, there is that edge within you to explore. All right? You want to explore in every aspect, whether in knowledge, whether in relationship, whether in sex, or whatever you want to explore. But as much as you are exploring, you should have guidelines so that you don't go off bounds. Right. That's all. So when we have certain checks in your life, at least you know that I'm going beyond certain, but so I stay within the limit. But that, even when you are falling, you don't fall so deep. But you come to a certain level that it could be corrected. My issue is that certain mistakes, if you do them, you cannot recover.
Okay. So Selwyn, your last words on this topic, and let's bring it to a rest.
Oh yeah, it's good to listen to your elders, because definitely they have the experience, but the elders also need to understand the situation the kids go through. I think most Ghanaian parents, or maybe African parents, fail to understand. Or institutions fail to understand that the people that are coming up, they've also been there. They actually forget that they've been there, and they forget to understand it from their level. They just look at it from where they are on the top looking down, but they don't put themselves in their shoes to look at it from that level. So I think if both sides look in those directions, because even as a kid, if you are disobeying your parent, you should know what your parent is going through, because your parent actually cares about you. That's why they are nagging and all that. It's not because they just want to nag. They are nagging because they care about you. They don't want to make mistakes. So if both sides understand each other and sit down and talk to each other like adults, we'll be fine.
Daddy, your last words.
My last words are parents should be umbrellas.
Okay.
Umbrella, when it's raining, you need an umbrella.
Okay.
And when the sun is hot, you need an umbrella. So as parents, you must create an environment like an umbrella that people can come under our shades. As young people coming up and want to marry, want to take a decision, please, love is good, but knowledge is better. Okay. Because if you are not careful, there are certain things that we may do and we may not have the opportunity to recover. And finally, Christ is our stronghold. He's our anchor. You can never do anything without Christ. Whatever it is, whether it's modern or some time ago, it all reflects in the life and the principles of Christ. That we should allow people to come to ourselves, and we should also be able to listen and take wise counsel, and that will help us.
All right, so you heard it all. Before I go, I read from Rachel's. She's saying that I'm loving the show from Belgium. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm also grateful that you join us. Thank you always for being with us. I'm sure you've learned the lessons for yourself. It is not that they are saying no, 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 but it's for your own good. That is why certain institutions make certain decisions. It is for you. So it is up to you to decide whether you want it or not. My name is Yaya Kofi, and I was ably helped by Pastor Daniel, and then he's a counselor. DM me on Facebook, Benedict Yaya Kofi, for his number, and I'll give it to you. And this is also...
So, Saki.
Yes, Mel Sling, right?
So in second.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us. My name is Yaya Kofi. We'll come again next week. Goodbye.
Real entertainment. Joy Prime.